change. Ghana and Nigeria are expected to be among the world's fastest growing economies. That's on the back of adequately pooling resources and innovation, particularly in mobile telecommunications technology. Well, joining us for a look at doing business in West Africa, Nadine Rix is from Nyanza Africa. Good morning, Nadine, joining us from Cape Town at the moment. Nadine, but you're not based in Cape Town, you're based in Ghana. And tell us what it's like doing business in Africa. And we know actually, in a sense, there's no such thing as Africa. It's a particular country in Africa with its own particular issues.
Morning, thank you very much. Yes, we're based in Ghana. My husband and I founded Nyanza Africa about 4 years ago, basically to assist South African and other businesses to establish themselves in Ghana and from there maybe penetrate the West African market. So I'm just here in Cape Town. We attended a conference hosted by Cape Town Chamber of Commerce and F&B and R&B just to promote our services.
Well, looking at T. Rowe Price's Global Connections survey, he describes Ghana as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, based primarily though on oil production. So what about the balance of an economy like that, and what are the opportunities that you've seen and that you are facilitating for others?
What we've seen mainly is we've divided it into three main categories. The most difficult to come into is imports and distribution because there's such a flood of grey products and illegal cross-border activity. So it makes it very difficult for people to actually import and distribute. Second to that, you have other kind of markets like manufacturing. Manufacturing, we recommend people find a good local partner so it doesn't cost as much in terms of building the infrastructure because, of course, in countries like this, you are dealing with realities such as, power cuts and water cuts and things like that. And then for us, we typically promote services industry. So anything from downstream oil and gas, fleet management, facilities management. We do training, corporate trainings. Any kind of services industry seem to be really, really taking off.
Why did you go for Ghana rather than Kenya or Nigeria or somewhere else?
Interesting question. We actually worked in Nigeria. I worked as head of risk for MTN for about 5-6 years, and we wanted to start a family. And Nigeria is very crazy. It's a fantastic environment to kind of hone your skills in Africa. And we started looking around, and we went for a weekend to Ghana and just fell in love. And we moved there. Got 2 kids, and for us also it was fairly easy to establish a business in Ghana. It's very regulated, the people are very friendly, so for us it was just a natural choice. From there you also can open up your business into the rest of West Africa, so we found it a nice hub for us to do what we do. It's also a soft landing for people looking to expand into West Africa. We say Ghana is Africa for beginners. It's fairly easy for people to come there. There's a lot of tourism. It's a very friendly country, so that's mainly why we established ourselves there.
It sounds great. What about the ease of doing business? And of course, we're not short of surveys on the ease of doing business by various criteria. And the Doing Business 2013 survey talks about, it ranks countries. So the UK, for example, is 7th. South Africa is 39th. Ghana is 64th, just after Botswana, and then Nigeria is like right near the bottom at 131. So I mean, that sounds like a huge disparity. How do you compare and how do you judge the opportunities in places like Ghana and Nigeria, which are, after all, same part of the continent?
I would say one of the mistakes we made while moving from Nigeria to Ghana was to assume that West Africa is West Africa. They are indeed vastly different, from culture to finances to the approach to business. And I would say in terms of ease of doing business, what we found is if you don't have somebody on the ground, forget about it. If you're trying to do business from behind your desk in a South African company or wherever you are, it's not going to succeed. You have to be on the ground, you have to be knocking on doors, you have to, for example, for registration, be sitting in the registrar's office, pushing for somebody to get it done. And that's actually where our business Nyanza comes in. We actually do that for people. We help them to establish themselves. But unless you're going to send somebody there, it's extremely, extremely difficult. And also a lot of the how-to books, there's a lot of facts in there that are not covered. It's very different when you're on the ground. And these are only things that you know once you have somebody there going through these challenges. We've been through it now a couple of times. We've established very good relationships with regulators and with people in the business of opening up a business. So for us, we can easily facilitate it, but it is tough if you don't have somebody on the ground pushing, knowing the culture, knowing where to go. It can be a bit of a runaround in terms of what to do. Nigeria, I think, is a bit more difficult. Obviously, there's a lot more people, it's a lot more populated, it's a lot more aggressive in terms of business, and you really, really have to know your way around, or preferably use somebody that lives in Nigeria, that knows where to go, that knows who to use.
Looking, you say 4 years is how long you've been there. You've obviously, by what you've just said to me in the last couple of minutes, you've found your way around in many ways in a strange environment which is now very familiar to you. What remains for you the biggest obstacle, the difficulty, the thing that worries you most about doing business in those countries?
I think the thing that for me is always a concern is Ghana is a fairly passive country. It can take a very long time for things to happen versus Nigeria, which is very aggressive. If somebody tells you today, yes, they're interested in what you have to sell, probably in 2-3 weeks' time you'll be doing business. Whereas Ghana is much more regulated, they're much more, passive in terms of taking risk, much more risk averse. And for me, it's always, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what if something goes wrong? It's a fairly politically stable country, but you also never know. It is still an emerging market. With the development of oil, we also don't know exactly what's going to happen. We hope that the country utilizes the money in the right way and that it doesn't just stay at the top layer. But these are all things that we always have to be aware of, and we talk to people to see, exactly what is in the running for the economy. People speak of Ghana being the fastest growing economy, but it does take time to actually establish yourself. One of the other things also is in terms of marketing, your typical traditional westernized marketing techniques won't work. It's very much face-to-face, word of mouth. So you have to really build a presence and build a brand to ensure that your business will be sustainable. And on a last note, I think for us, skills is a challenge. To find the right people that understand what you're trying to create, what you're trying to deliver a service on, can be a challenge. I think basically from lack of exposure, if you haven't seen how it works in other countries and if you haven't experienced the quality, getting the right skill sets are always up the top front of things that worry us. If some of our staff had to leave, where would we find a good replacement, people that can find themselves in that position and just hit the ground running?
Well, thanks.